Have you ever experienced a circumstance in your life that made it so difficult to really live with a sense of joy and purpose? Well, we find a remarkable example of how to rise above this in this week's Torah reading, Sara. Right at the very beginning, the Torah tells us, Sarah's lifetime was 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. The years of Sarah's life. Very strange. This is Sara Manor. This is Sara, the foremother of the Jewish people. And instead of saying she was 127 years old, we're told she lived 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. And the rabbis explain there to teach us a very important lesson, that all of the days of Sarah's life were equally as good. That is bizarre. If you've been following the story in the Chumash, then you would know that Sara lived through not one abduction, but 2 abductions. Most of her life, she was childless. She was moved around, literally exiled from part of the world to another part of the world to another part of the world. She lived through famine and many other difficult circumstances. So what about her life was equally as good throughout all of 127 years? So we understand that Sara understood that external circumstances should not define who we are and how we feel. Many times we allow ourselves, our moods, to be lifted up or depressed by a piece of chocolate or lack thereof. There are so many things in our world that affects our moods, but Sara knew something that many of us forget. She understood that if a person understands that God is leading their life, and that every day is a blessing, every sunset is a gift, and every breath of air is a treasure. So then it almost doesn't matter what's going on around as long as internally a person remains calm and focused on their sense of purpose and their sense of spirituality in their life. As the old saying goes, the city of happiness is found in the state of mind. There was a beautiful story to illustrate this point, told by this man called Rabbi Wyne. One time the students were studying the piece of Talmud, and they came across the piece of Talmud that says, Kashem shemivarech ala tov, kach mevarech ala ra, which means just like you should bless on the good, so too you should bless on the bad. In other words, in the same way that a person has a positive, wonderful feeling when something good happens to him, he also should greet difficult challenges in his life with those same kinds of emotions. Well, this is a strange piece of Talmud. They go to the rabbi and ask for advice, saying, Rebbe, how are we supposed to feel good when bad things happen to us in the same way that we feel when good things happen to us? The rabbi said, listen, I don't know. But if you go to this particular house, you'll meet this man, Rabbi Wyne. He's lived a miserable life. Abject poverty his whole life. Several of his children he had to bury. And he was sick a lot of the time as well. Well, they go to find his house. They knock on the door. They say, Rabbi Wyne, a rabbi sent us to ask you the question, how is it a person can greet difficult circumstances with the same kind of positive emotion as good circumstances? And Rabbi Wyne turned to him and said, I don't know why he sent you to me. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. In other words, Rabbi Wyne also, like Sara, could approach every circumstance in life as an opportunity to grow, as a God-given gift to allow himself to reach his potential. In that regard, there's not good circumstances and bad circumstances that happen to us, but rather there are opportunities to allow us to achieve greatness within our own levels of experience.